Hey guys, welcome back. Yep, this is me from Brian from the Nerd to the Third Power podcast on my travels again. So last time I talked to you, I was in Oklahoma City. Since then, I've actually traveled to a couple different places. I went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for a while. I actually just had a week off. I got to visit my family I haven't seen in a while. But now I'm back on the clock. I'm back out here outside of Chicago, Illinois, in a place called Wooddale. But yeah, I've actually been to Chicago since I've been here. I'm here only for about a week. Then I have to travel off to Dallas for the next week. So this is sort of a short sort of Q&A for you guys. So I have a couple of questions here I'm going to get into. I'm going to kind of narrow some of them down. I'm going to save some of the other ones when I get to Dallas. That way I can kind of have some stuff for Dallas because I'm only there for another week before I go back on the road and I'll be actually heading down to Arizona. So first question up, I got a question here. He's from Tony. So Tony's actually asked me my thoughts on Black Panther and Infinity War. Now, obviously, since I wasn't on the podcast, I was not able to share my thoughts on the films, but I enjoyed them both. Yeah, there's a surprise, right? I enjoyed both these films. Black Panther, I thought, was very, very well done. They sort of did a lot of things I wasn't expecting them to do. The story I was sort of expecting was he didn't want to be the king and had to learn how to be the king. But in the first couple minutes of the film, it was like, I accept the responsibility as a king, and we're going to move forward from there. So I was like, oh, okay, this is a story I really want to see now. And they did a lot of really good things. There's some items in the film that I'm never sure is ever going to come back up again, especially when like he's opened up Wakanda more to the world, but at the same time that means he needs to tell the world that he had Wakanda agents spying on the rest of the world. And some of those agents were okay, spoiler alert here, were okay with starting uprisings in those particular spots. So I don't know if that will ever get return to, because I feel like that, yes, it's great that you're opening up your wonderful scientific country to the world. There's a better sentence in my head there, and I kind of lost it halfway through. But we need to talk about what happened here, so for political relations. But no, I thought it was a very good film. Infinity War I enjoyed as well. I think what they did really nicely there was that even though, yes, there are a ton of characters, they weren't all there at the same time. They broke it up going, all right, these characters are over here doing their thing, these characters over here doing their thing. And yes, some of them met, but you actually had sort of separate stories. And then by the end of it, spoiler warning, the cast is sort of trimmed down a bit for the next film. Thanos I thought was actually fantastic. He's probably the second outside of Loki Marvel movie villain that actually caught my attention and followed through with the hype he had. Because remember, he's been hyped up for about, what, 10 years now? How ridiculous is that? So that's really good. What I didn't like about the films is, I don't know how I became such a CG snob over the years, but there's some questionable CG in both those films. In Black Panther, when they were fighting in the mine on the train, it looked like a video game. And not in like sort of like that good way. Like I could tell like this is very video game-esque. And in Infinity War, anytime a character had like normal costume, but was unmasked, like Iron Man, I think Spider-Man, really the big two, like I just see, actually no, I take it back. Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster costume, when helmet flips up, it just looks bad. Like I can tell they're not there. And again, I don't know where the snob in me is sort of facilitated in this, because usually I didn't really care. I cared more about, hey, if the story is still engaging, I didn't really mind so much. But just some of those shots just made me cringe a little bit. Like, why is that looking so bad? But it didn't stop me from enjoying the film. I want to see kind of where it goes from it. Now, a lot of people were shocked that by the ending of it. I wasn't as shocked by it because I knew something was coming up, and I knew the film was going to be kind of split into two, because it was announced being like part 1 and part 2, and then they dropped the part 1 and part 2, so I guess there's going to be a new subtitle for the next film. But I already knew that this was only the beginning of it. So then you have the beginning of it and then sort of the end of it. And also, I'm not. This is more of a complaint. I'm not really sure why they're dumbing down Thor. And also, Peter Dinklage's character, I have no idea what he was doing there, and like that just came off bad to me. Not like a bad acting. Like a guy like Peter Dinklage, it was just so off. Like he wasn't treating it seriously. I don't even. Oh. Stormbringer, like, look, I know you guys are sick of hearing me about Stormbringer and Beta Ray Bill in the Marvel Universe. I get it. But Thor now has his weapon, which tells me, since Thor lost his hammer, another spoiler, Beta Ray Bill's never showing up. And like, I have to sort of get over that. So that sucks. I wasn't really big fond of that. So overall, long question, enjoyed both films. Both had some small issues with it, but overall I really liked them. So next question here, we're going to stick with sort of comic questions here. So next question here is, why is Jack Kirby my favorite artist? Jack Kirby is one of my favorite artists because his art is so dynamic, is so good and so detailed that if you take away the dialogue, leave the dialogue out, I can still follow the story without any problem whatsoever, without any real confusion. Unless it's some of his more, let's say, out of the world, maybe fourth world, or if you ever looked at the 2001 Space Odyssey adaptation, that may be harder, but for the most part, I could follow his storytelling just through his art. That is why he's one of my favorite artists. I absolutely love the fact that I can look at a page, at a spread or anything, and I can tell the story just by interactions, just by facial movements, just by the action itself. You know you have a special talent on your hands. So that is why Jack Kirby is always going to be my #1 favorite artist. So let's move away from comics for a little bit. I got another question here. Did you follow E3? Is there anything you're excited about? And here is where I disappoint everyone, and I didn't follow E3 at all. Being on the road and being sort of trapped on the road, I don't get a lot of the ability to follow things, so I saw no conferences. I didn't really see any news until much, much later because I got home very late. Maybe I would check a headline or two, but then I passed out on bed. I work very long hours sometimes at my job, so I don't get the privilege of doing that. So I have no idea what was announced. I heard some announcements. I heard Kingdom Hearts finally has a date. I don't trust that date until like it's actually in the stores, to be quite honest with you. So I guess Kingdom Hearts 3, which means I need to go back and play Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, at least try to, since I really don't have my games or my game system with me. But hopefully I'll be back home later this year and I can probably do that. Then what I was actually kind of surprised about, and I don't know if it's a good surprise or a bad surprise, not as many Battle Royale games were announced. There are some coming. I was expecting a flood of Battle Royale games thanks to PUBG and Fortnite and all that kind of, and I think Totally Accurate Battlegrounds is a new one that popped up. There's been a couple that's popped up. So I was actually expecting this flood of, and it has a Battle Royale system, and it has a Battle Royale, and this has a Battle Royale. I was expecting a lot. There are some that are coming, but not as much as I thought. So maybe the industry is kind of learning that it was already a fad, so not announcing anything now. I don't know. I heard bad things about EA's press conference. I heard kind of good mixed things about PlayStation. Microsoft did all right. Nintendo is Nintendo at this point. I don't really tell. I mean, yes, they did announce Smash Brothers, and I'm a huge Smash Brothers fan for a long period of time. So now it's sort of forcing me to probably go get a Switch, which I still don't own. But hey, it has everyone and then some in this game. It's probably going to be the last game of the series. Well, I say that, but if it's super popular, they'll probably make more. I don't know. Nintendo's very weird about that. So unfortunately, I didn't get to follow a lot of it. I didn't get a lot of news out of it. So I'll be pleasantly surprised, or not, when things do get announced, or I do catch up and I do see it and I do play it. So there we go with that. So this is gonna be the last one. So we went comic, we get movies, comics, we go games. Now we'll do another one because this actually broke. This broke a while ago, and I haven't been able to catch up with it. It says, the question is, what do you think of Geoff Johns leaving DC Executive Board? Do you think this will impact DC films at all? So after Justice League, Warner Brothers is basically restructuring everything again, which I think they restructured after Batman v Superman, so they're going to just restructure it again. He said he left, but he probably got fired. Here's the thing about business. I want to tell you guys, because I actually studied business for a long period of time, is that, and this is me cursing, so no ad revenue for me, shit's weird in the background. Like, you could be fired because it's a Tuesday. You could be fired because you've done something horribly wrong. You could be promoted and you still have done something horribly wrong. Things seem to work backwards. What I think here is that Geoff's a creator. Like, I read his writings and I understand like that. So I think having him sort of pushing papers could only go so far. Like, I know he was the one behind Rebirth, so he wrote a lot of Rebirth and he helped a lot of the creators write Rebirth and sort of get everyone on the same page again, which is great. So like that's fine in comic books. In movies, I know movies business is a complete separate itself, and it runs very, very strange. So what I keep reading in the background. So I think him leaving that position is not bad necessarily for the film side of things, because I don't think he was in there long enough to get a sense of what was going on or to see a sense of change. So I think I don't think it'll actually impact the films all that much, to be honest with you. It might impact the comic side if he's not really involved in the comic side. That's where I feel like is his biggest strength right now, is impacting the comic book side and keeping because he's the one I think has good fresh ideas, and he can play in the margins very easily. So if things kind of go awry, he can go, all right, we can kind of move this. There's a little piece of information here. I'm going to expand on that. That's kind of what he did with every like run that he's really been on. He plays very well in the margins. So that I think is going to affect probably comics more than I think is going to affect the film side of things. But hey, we're getting an Aquaman movie out of it. I'll go see the Aquaman movie. I mean, I like Jason Momoa. I like him in Justice League. So hey, you never really know. So if it does affect the films, we may never see it, or we'll see it a couple of years down the line, the way the film industry kind of runs. I don't know, and I don't think we're going to see a lot of big changes. That is, some people might say that's very depressing. They haven't been enthused with their movies, so what can I tell you? I've been critical as well. Hey, we all have. So those are the questions I got this week. I got a couple more here, but I'm actually going to save them, like I said, for next week. I'm going to get that done. I'm not sure when it'll get out, but I'll at least be able to kind of film it and then get it all started for you guys, and hopefully get some more questions down the line. Kind of keep them rolling right now. That being said, I hope you guys really enjoy. This is a very basic series of mine, so I do appreciate if you guys do subscribe to my channel, and click that little bell icon and notification when I post a video every month at this point, because I'm on the road. I will tell you this, I do want to expand this channel a little bit and expand myself outside of the podcast. I love the podcast to death. I love being on it. But I do want to kind of do some other things. I've been having this creative need for a very long time, and I just really haven't been able to expand on it. So hopefully I get to do something like that. This wonderful trip I've been on for the last like 7 months now, has been fantastic. If you follow my Twitter, you kind of see where I'm talking about. I kind of go on when using that a little bit more, so go ahead and follow stuff on there. But that's it for this week, guys. So hopefully, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, tweet at me, anything like that. I might add them to the list of piles. The list of piles? The list of piles. That's a funny word because it doesn't make any sense. All right. I'm going to see you guys next time. It looks like I'm losing my mind. Hope to see you again. All right. Bye-bye.